The following video is a segment from a much longer video. If you want to go directly to the main video and watch it in full, then you can find the link to that in the description, plus right up here in the card. Enjoy.
Certain Calvinists believe in something called the limited atonement. The limited atonement belief claims that Jesus died only for the sins of people who will ultimately be saved and given eternal life.
Okay, let's provide correction.
Okay, so I supplied a definition, and then Mr. White says that he needed to provide correction. So James, why are you providing the correction?
This poor young man just is in error.
Okay, well, if I'm in error, then I apologize for that. But I'm gonna blame my source, because I learned this definition from an article called "Was Anyone Saved at the Cross?" The author was someone named James White. I could probably put you in contact with him if you guys need to talk. Just go to your bathroom and then look above the sink. So yeah, this definition came from an article that James White wrote. In the article, which explained the limited atonement, James writes that he had to understand that Christ's death was made in behalf of God's elect, and that it does accomplish its intention. It does save those for whom it was made. So according to Mr. White's own article, Jesus' death saves those for whom it was made, which logically means that the people Jesus died for are the people who will be saved, which is this part of the slide. Jesus died for the people who will ultimately be saved and given eternal life. Now, James also writes, the atoning death of Christ provides forgiveness of sins for all those whom it is made. So if Jesus' death provides forgiveness for the sins of all those for whom it was made, and we already know from Mr. White that all those for whom it was made are saved, then we know that according to Mr. White's definition of limited atonement, that Jesus died for the sins of the people who will ultimately be saved and given eternal life. In the article, James also goes on to say Christ's atoning death is clearly connected with his advocacy before the Father. White says it is impossible that the Son would not intercede for everyone for whom he died. If Christ dies as their substitute, how could he not present his sacrifice in their stead before the Father? Can we really believe that Christ would die for someone that he did not intend to save? And then he writes, Christ will save his people from their sins. James also writes in a section labeled "For whom did Christ die?" that the scope of Christ's death was limited to the elect. Limited to the elect means the same thing as only for the elect. So when you put that all together, guess what you get? Jesus died only for the sins of the people who will ultimately be saved and given eternal life. That is an accurate definition of Mr. White's limited atonement, supplied by the help of Mr. White himself. It gets better.
What would be the appropriate expression?
So he went from needing to provide correction because we were in error to, let me tell you the appropriate expression. We weren't in error, he just didn't like the way we expressed the definition. So James gives a long, flowery explanation, which in the end matches up perfectly with the definition we gave, to which he then says this.
So, a little bit of a difference when you actually lay it out the way it should be, rather than this particular way.
So it went from being in error to, well, you didn't use the appropriate expression, to, it's a little bit different. And technically, he's right, there is a little bit of a difference. We use different words to say the same exact thing he said. And again, his response goes on for 90 minutes. It's all like this. It's complete nonsense. Here's another example.
We call that the golden chain of redemption in a theological biz.
So from a marketing standpoint, golden chain is going to sound a lot better than just chain. This is just an advertising trick. It doesn't matter what color this chain is. It could be brown, it could be purple, it could be rainbow colored. It doesn't matter. So we can...
It amazes me he didn't even get that point. He didn't even get that point. The point is that, the Bible actually uses the term golden for a reason. The purifying of your faith as gold purified in the fire.
So Mr. White says that we didn't get the point, but then he goes on and provides support for exactly the point we were making. The term golden chain of redemption is not found anywhere in the Bible. It was made up. We're aware, as Mr. White was saying, the term golden is used in the Bible in other places. We know that the term golden is associated with great things.
The point is that, the Bible actually uses the term golden for a reason.
That's our point. They're using the term golden, which already has positive connotations, in reference to this chain, even though the Bible never does that. The word golden is being used in order to make it sound better. Like we said before, seems like a marketing technique. And just one more example for the day, I referred to this as the conditional statement of redemption.
If they're called and they're not in the chain, then they're not going to get in the chain. So perhaps a more accurate name for Romans 8, instead of the golden chain of redemption, we can lose golden because it's just a color that was slapped onto the thing, and we can change chain to something that's more direct and to the point, which is conditional statement. Romans 8 gives us the conditional statement of redemption.
So it now becomes the conditional statement. Not God's unconditional glory, but now the conditional statement of redemption.
Two things. First of all, you can get a conditional statement from Romans 8. If you are one of these whom he foreknew, and predestined in this way, then you will have been called, justified, and glorified as well. That's what a conditional statement is. If X, then Y. If this, then that. So what the heck is this part about?
So it now becomes the conditional statement. Not God's unconditional glory, but now the conditional statement of redemption.
No one was even talking about God's glory and whether it was conditional or unconditional. I'm talking about a conditional statement that you can get from Romans 8. They're two entirely different things. And the weird thing is people follow this guy and they believe what he says, but when you put even the littlest amount of thought into it, it's like, this guy doesn't make any sense. Mr. White, if you don't understand this, you can make conditional statements about things that have unconditional qualities. So like this pillow here, I could have unconditional love for this pillow, and it's a good pillow. It's real soft. Oh, you got to feel this pillow, man. Was I even in that shot? Did you block my shot? I don't have unconditional love for the Tower of Cups, because seriously, you're getting in the way. We'll do it again over here. Oh, so soft. Anyway, I can have unconditional love for this pillow. If you set this pillow on fire, I will not put my head on it. So that's now a conditional statement about something that I have unconditional love for. See how they work together? Anyway, while there is humor to be found in Mr. White's grasping at straws attempts to save his crumbling man-made religion, we also still realize that there are some people who buy into Mr. White's false teachings. So that's why we make these videos, and we hope that they help anyone who may have been conned by Mr. White. Remember though, if you are a follower of Mr. White and you're just now realizing that he's not truthful all the time, don't panic and dump everything he's taught you, because as a Protestant, he does still pull a lot of teachings off the Christian shelf. So he gets a lot of stuff wrong, but he has also gotten a lot of stuff right. So don't just assume that everything you've learned from him is wrong, because that's simply not true.
Now, here's the on August 26th, Soteriology 101, which we all know is Dr. Leighton Flowers' stuff, he posted a video from a Roman Catholic. Now, I'm not going to play it.
I'm going to show you. I'll play the video. I don't have any problem letting you see it for yourself.
Anyway, the comment was, ouch. And what it was a confused, muddled argument, ignoring what it was.
I watched the entire video, and it's anything but confused or muddled. Very, very clear. I mean, he is very, very clear, showing here's what Dr. White said this time, and this is what he said this time, and how do those two things go together?
This particular individual also seemingly exists solely to get attention from this program.
That's just not true, demonstrably not true. But it doesn't really matter, because it's not addressing the argument. It's a red herring. It's a to-the-man argument. So I'm going to address the individual, his background, his beliefs about other things, or his editing process, instead of actually addressing the argument. Again, I'm pointing out that fallacy because I think we need to stay focused on the actual point of contention. In other words, here's the argument. Here's how I answer the argument. I think the logic of the argument is sound, and that's what I would like to hear a response to.
I just want to try to help this guy break his addiction and find something to do in life that will be fulfilling and satisfying and useful.
How about you just answer the argument, unless you don't have an answer for the argument? I think that's probably a good rule of thumb.
All right, so again, that was just a segment from a longer video. If you enjoyed this segment, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, click that notification bell and all. And again, if you want to watch the full video where this segment came from, you can click the link in the description, or actually the link should be appearing in the video right now. This is How to Be Christian. You all have a great day.